Hello guys, well today we're gonna do a Debian installation with BTRFS and snapshot setup. So I'm gonna choose an expert mode, but graphical mode is the same as text but looks a little bit nicer. This is something I'm not gonna lose too much time. I suppose you already know how to install Debian. It's basically all the default settings. That's the advantage of using this method. You don't have to hack the installation like other way to install it using the console and creating subvolumes manually and editing fstab file. So in this case we will do all automatically, and then we will run the script to solve and convert our system to a BTRFS compatible. Here I select not to create a root user, so this way I can sudo easily. So here's the only part that we have to do something different. Have to choose manual mode here. This is an installation that I have already done, so I will remove everything that I've done. Okay, this is the condition you should have in a new installation. So what we have to do is to select the free space, create a new partition. Let's put 200 megabytes, something like that. Here we create the EFI partition. Done with this partition. Now we create the BTRFS partition. We select the rest of the disk, and here we select BTRFS. Done setting up the partition, and that's it. So we have the EFI at the beginning of the disk for our first partition, and the second partition is BTRFS mounted on root, and that's it. It asks us to create a swap. We're going to use swap tool, so we don't need to. And let's confirm the changes. And now we continue installing. At this point, other methods needed to go into the console mode and modify the name of the subvolume, which by default in Debian is at root fs instead of at. But we don't need to do that because you're gonna see later how the app handles that name. So we continue with the installation normally without doing any hard trick. just let the system to use free software. Backports also, and then select the software. Here again we're gonna choose the minimum installation just to make it faster. Then we can install whatever you want. No automatic updates, no participation. Here I will unselect everything, just leave the SSH server in case we need to do an SSH to work using a console, just to make it faster to copy and paste commands from our computer. Here I'm using a virtual machine with Proxmox, but I also install it using this method in my desktop, physical desktop, and it works perfectly well also. We are almost finishing installing the system. Okay, here we are back. After installing the system, we are rebooting the computer, and let's log in. Okay, now what we're gonna do is install some apps needed for the script to do its job. Let's do an update. Let's install Git. Okay, so now let's do a clone. So we have to clone this repo. BTRFS Snapper setup is done. Let's go to the folder. So we have these files. We have to change the permits on the executable script. There we go. We are ready to run. So let's do a first run. We have to run the script with sudo, and that's the first thing. So it says that the script is configured to run with this user to do Linux. So what we have to do is modify the .com file. So we have something to touch here. The first thing is the user. We change to our user. The root subvolume is okay for Debian. This you can do whatever you want. I will leave it like that. Here for Debian also is okay. Here are the folders by default that are gonna be moved to a subvolumes. So here you can add more or remove one of them. For example, let's remove this one. Let's remove this one, and that could be some standard one. That's a standard list, I would say. Those first one are the one that OpenSUSE uses. This is very important to keep them for the system to run properly. For the rest is completely up to you. I have even more than that. The thing is, all the subvolumes that are included here will not be included in the snapshots, so that will make the system to use less space for our snapshots. This is the log file. You can change it also. This is better to leave it like that. Those are the options for the mounting subvolumes. That's the options I use, but again, you can add, remove, or change it as you like. And those two are the devices, the root device and the EFI. We can verify later if that is okay, but I think it is. But in case, for example, in my computer I have an NVMe, so I had to modify. Let's do an ls blk, and yeah, our root is SDA2 and our EFI is SDA1, so that looks okay. So let's run again the script, and the script tells us that everything is matching, everything is okay, all the variables are fine, and let's continue. Okay, so here we have info, user accepted, root, errors, parent directory. It's asking us to, it says that that cache doesn't exist. We have to create it manually. So let's create it. That's because I choose to use one subvolume with cache trash, I think, or something like that. Then it's asking us to install the packages that are missing, so let's do that. Sync, well, essential, notify tools, snapper. Okay, let's install that. I prefer to leave the script like that, not to let the screen to install the packages needed, because I think it's better for the user to know what it's doing. Let's run it again. Okay, the variables are okay. We have another error. It's saying that I created cache wrongly, so let's do it properly. Yeah, I created it in this subfolder. We have to create it in the user subfolder. Let's run it again, and voila, all the checks are done and the installation is done. So let's see what the script does. Let's do a list of subvolumes. So the script created those add subvolumes, boot, var, home, etc. Those are the names that are on the subvolume list. Let me show you. this list here, subfolders. Those are converted into subvolumes, and they're going to be mounted on the specific folder after the next boot. So another thing is this script creates install Snapper. We install Snapper, but it creates the root config file. It creates a manual snapshot, the snapshot number 1, and it makes a rollback. It does this the same way that the OpenSUSE works. So after the next shutdown, the system is going to boot in the default subvolume. So let's see which one is our default subvolume. So with this command, okay, so the default subvolume is the 261, that is snapshots 3. Exactly. So the snapshot 3, if you see on the snapper list, has a plus on the right. It's because it's the default. So it's the writable copy of the snapshot number 1. So let's do another reboot. So this is another thing that the script does. It creates, this is the default entry that Debian uses. If we go here, we go back to the previous stage. Here we have all the snapshots that the group BTRFS creates, and the first one is created by the script. This is gonna boot always on the default subvolume. So let's do, so you see our root is the snapshot 3. So here we see all the mounting points. Another thing we can see is this is our stub, so that's also created by the script. And another thing we can do is make another rollback. So let's do a rollback of snapshot 2. Okay, so the system, what we can do also is install something. Install BTOP. Okay, Snapper created a snapshot pre and post install. It's number 7 and number 8. So let's do BTOP. Okay, function, and we can do a snapshot. Okay, we can, if we boot from the default, we won't have BTOP. Let's check that. and that's it. We don't have BTOP because we are running on snapshot 6. And we can reboot from another snapshot. It's up to you. And at this point we can install whatever we want, KDE, GNOME, whatever you want, and you can continue start using the system as the same way as if it would be a open source distribution. So okay guys, I think that's it for today. I hope this script will be helpful, and if you have any comment, give it down below, and we see you on the next one.